Are ugly habits you begin to exhibit after 65. Habits that everyone in your life notices, but nobody will ever have the courage to tell you to your face. Not your children, not your oldest friend, and not the person who sits beside you every Sunday at church. They see it. In fact, they have seen it for a while now. But there is an unspoken rule among the people who love you that certain things are better left unsaid. So they stay quiet, and you stay unaware. Today, that changes. There are 7 things that begin to happen in old age, so slowly, so quietly, that the person living them never sees them, but everyone else does. And some of them are already costing you more than you realize, in how people see you, in how they treat you, and in what they quietly decide not to say to you anymore. We are going to go through all 7. Honestly, the way nobody in your life has been willing to. Number 7 is the one that hits closest to home, because it is the one that feels the most normal to the person doing it and the most noticeable to absolutely everyone else. Number 1, repeating the same stories. Think about the last time you told a story to someone you love. Now ask yourself this: had you told them that exact story before? Because there is a very good chance the answer is yes, and an even better chance that they already knew that before you finished your first sentence. Researchers at the Rotman Research Institute in Toronto studied this exact pattern in older adults. What they found was not what most people expect. It is not that older adults run out of things to say. It is something happening much deeper in the way the aging brain stores and retrieves the memory of who has already been told what. Scientists call it destination memory failure. Your brain remembers the story perfectly, every detail, every emotion, but it quietly loses track of who you already told it to. And here is the part that makes it even harder to catch. The same research found that older adults are highly confident they have never told certain stories to certain people, even when they have. The brain doesn't just forget. It actively convinces you that you remember correctly. So you tell the story again, with the same energy, the same pause before the punchline. And the person sitting across from you smiles, not because they are hearing it for the first time, but because they love you too much to tell you they have heard it 4 times before. This is not a character flaw. It is not carelessness. It is a specific, documented change in the aging brain that most people never know is happening to them. But knowing it is happening is the first step to doing something about it. Number 2, speaking much louder than necessary. There is a particular kind of silence that falls over a room when an older adult walks in and begins speaking. Not because of what they are saying, but because of how loudly they are saying it. Private conversations shared at full volume, quiet restaurants suddenly not so quiet, family members exchanging glances across the table that they hope nobody notices, and the person speaking completely unaware. Here's why. Hearing loss in older adults does not happen all at once. It creeps in so gradually, so gently, that the brain adjusts without ever sending an alarm. By the time the loss is significant, the new volume has already become the new normal. When you cannot hear yourself clearly, your brain does what it is designed to do. It compensates. It turns up the output to match what it believes the situation requires. The problem is, the situation does not require it. Everyone else can hear perfectly fine. Research shows that by age 65, 1 in 3 Americans has measurable hearing loss. By 75, that number rises to 1 in 2, and the majority of them have no idea the volume of their own voice has changed. The people around them know. They have adjusted. They have leaned away slightly in restaurants. They have changed where they sit during family dinners. But nobody has said a word. Number 3, giving unsolicited advice. You have lived a long life. You have made mistakes that took years to recover from. You have learned things the hard way, things you wish someone had told you when you were younger. And now, watching the people around you repeat those same mistakes, it is almost impossible to stay quiet. So you say something, you offer the wisdom, you share what you know, and something shifts in the room that you almost never catch in time. Psychologists who study aging describe a very specific cognitive shift that happens as people grow older, a deepening drive toward legacy, a need to pass on what has been learned before it is too late. It is not selfishness, neither is it arrogance. It is one of the most human impulses there is. But here is what nobody tells you about it. The younger people in your life are not experiencing it the same way you are. What feels like wisdom being offered often lands as criticism being delivered. What feels like love often feels like control. And they will not tell you that. They will nod. They will say thank you, and they will change the subject as soon as they can. The advice is not the problem. The timing, the frequency, and the awareness of whether it was actually invited, that is where the damage quietly happens. Number 4, the shuffling walk. Nobody wakes up one morning and decides to shuffle. It happens in the smallest possible increments. A slightly shorter stride here, a little less lift in the foot there. The body making quiet adjustments that feel, from the inside, completely normal. But from the outside, the change is visible long before the person feels it. Here is what the research tells us about why this happens. After the age of 60, the body begins to lose muscle mass at a rate of roughly 1 to 2% per year, a process called sarcopenia. The muscles responsible for lifting the foot, extending the stride, and maintaining balance gradually weaken. At the same time, the brain's communication with those muscles slows slightly. The result is a walk that becomes shorter, flatter, and more cautious over time. And cautious is the right word, because much of the shuffle is not just muscular, it is neurological. The aging brain, sensing a higher risk of falling, begins to instruct the body to keep its center of gravity lower and its steps smaller. It is a protective response. But it also signals something to everyone watching. Studies show that observers can estimate a person's age, health status, and even cognitive decline simply by watching them walk. The gait tells a story the person is not aware they are telling. The shuffle is not inevitable, but catching it requires someone to tell you it has started. And most people never get that conversation. Number 5, grooming neglect. This one is uncomfortable to say, but it is one of the most commonly noticed and least commonly mentioned changes that comes with age. The shirt that is slightly off, the hair that has not been cut in longer than it used to be, the details of personal grooming that were once automatic, quietly becoming less so. And nobody says anything, because how do you say that to someone you love? What most people do not understand is that grooming neglect in older adults is rarely about not caring. It is almost never laziness. There are specific physical reasons this happens, and they begin long before anyone notices. Flexibility declines with age. Reaching the back of the head, the back of the neck, the lower legs, these become genuinely difficult. Vision changes make it harder to see the details in a mirror that were once easy to catch. For those living alone, the social triggers that once prompted grooming, the expectation of being seen, of being evaluated, quietly disappear. When you dress for no one, eventually the standards shift without you realizing they have shifted. Research on older adults living alone shows a direct correlation between social engagement and personal grooming standards. The more isolated a person becomes, the less frequently the small, daily acts of self-presentation are maintained. It is not vanity, it is connection. And when the connection fades, so does the habit. Number 6, every conversation becomes about health. You have probably noticed it in someone else before you ever noticed it in yourself. Every phone call finds its way to a new symptom. Every dinner conversation circles back to a medication, a doctor's visit, a procedure that is coming up. Every exchange, no matter where it starts, ends up in the same place. And the people listening, they listen. They ask the right questions, and they express the appropriate concern. But something is quietly shifting in how often they call, in how long the visits last, in how quickly the subject gets changed when a new topic is introduced. Psychologists who study social aging call this symptom-centered communication, and it is one of the most common and least recognized patterns of social withdrawal in older adults. It is not attention-seeking. It is something much more understandable than that. As the body changes, health becomes the loudest thing in a person's life. It takes up more time, more energy, more mental space than it ever did before. And we naturally talk about what occupies us most. But here's what happens on the other side of that conversation. Younger people, healthy people, people whose bodies are not yet demanding that kind of attention, they do not share that frame of reference. And conversation, at its core, requires shared ground. When every exchange is dominated by one topic, especially one the other person cannot fully enter, the distance grows, quietly, politely, but consistently. Number 7, social withdrawal and increasing irritability. This is the one that surprises people the most. Not because it is rare, but because it is so easy to mistake for something it is not. It looks like preference. It looks like someone who has simply become more private, more selective, more comfortable with their own company. And sometimes that is exactly what it is. But sometimes, more often than most people realize, it is something else entirely. Research on aging and personality consistently shows a pattern that begins in the mid-60s and accelerates through the 70s. Social circles shrink, tolerance for noise, disruption, and social complexity decreases. And irritability, the kind that surfaces quickly and fades slowly, becomes more present than it ever was before. The biological reasons are real. Hormonal shifts reduce the neurochemicals associated with patience and social reward. Chronic pain, even mild background pain that a person has learned to live with, has a measurable effect on mood and social tolerance. Sleep disruption, which becomes increasingly common with age, compounds everything. But here is what the people on the outside see. They see someone who used to be warm becoming harder to reach. Someone who used to laugh easily becoming quicker to frustration. Someone who used to be the center of every room now preferring the edges of it. And they grieve that quietly, without saying anything, because they do not know if it is something they did, or something that is simply happening, or something they are allowed to name. The withdrawal and the irritability feel, from the inside, like peace, like finally having permission to want what you want and feel what you feel. But from the outside, they look like disappearing. And the people who love you are watching it happen, hoping you will come back without knowing how to ask you to. These are 7 habits, 7 quiet shifts that crept in so gradually they felt like nothing at all. But here is what nobody tells you about quiet shifts. The people around you felt every single one. They love you. That is exactly why they stayed quiet. But here is something worth sitting with tonight. The people who age the best, the ones who stay sharp, stay connected, stay present in the lives of the people they love, they are not the ones who never develop these habits. They are the ones who found out about them early enough to do something. And there is a reason that catching these things early changes everything. It is not just about grooming or volume or the stories you tell. It goes much deeper than that. There are specific things happening inside the body, changes most people never connect to behavior, that drive every single one of these 7 patterns. And when you understand what is actually causing them, the way you think about your own aging changes completely. That is exactly what we are getting into next.